That's it. Very, 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 very simple. So this presentation is going to walk you through all the key points, get you familiar with what we do. It's going to start off with me introducing the industry. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the company. And then I'm going to hand it over to my buddy Robert from Los Angeles, and he's going to talk about the actual opportunity, how you can participate, earn some money, and actually earn some serious money. So, without further ado, how many people do you know who use electricity and natural gas? Simple question. This is a loaded question. Please raise your hand if you don't use gas and electricity. I almost got some there, someone went like this. Right? Everyone uses gas and electricity. And that's really the allure of this business. So a little bit about me. I would consider myself a serial entrepreneur. My last corporate job I quit in 2004. I'm an ex-TELUS guy. And since then I've been in business of my own. Last one being in the tech support industry. And whenever I look at an opportunity, I look at really how feasible it really is. And understanding that there was an opportunity for me to jump into a business where I could sell gas and electricity at below retail pricing, well, guess what? That made a lot of sense to me. It made a lot of sense to me because everyone uses gas, everyone uses electricity. If I can build a business out of this and I can deliver a proper value proposition, I might be taken care of for the rest of my life. That's why this is a very, very serious business, guys, because it absolutely works. Honestly, ask yourself, please raise your hand if you'd like to pay less for your gas and electricity. Thank you. It's like free money, right? Everybody does. And that's the power of this business. Everyone wants to save money. So deregulation is the reason why this opportunity is available today. For those of you who don't understand deregulation, let's talk about a little bit about the history of energy here in Alberta. So if you guys remember back, before the 90s, up to about the mid-1990s, energy was sold by ATCO and ATCO exclusively. So when a company like ATCO, they want to expand more and they need to invest in their infrastructure, they don't necessarily have the money. And in the 90s, when they needed to grow their infrastructure, they didn't have the money. And they asked the government for more money, and the governments were broke. So what they ended up doing was they deregulated the industry. That means that it's no longer government-owned, and now they allow private money to come into the industry on various facets. Same thing happened to telecom. Who remembers AGT? Right? AGT, today we have TELUS, we got Rogers, we have all these different competing companies. Exactly the same thing. The beautiful thing about deregulation, just so you guys understand, is that when you can capitalize on an industry like this, it's absolutely massive and monumental because you're dealing with utilities. So it's very, very, very big. So, a little history of our company. Right here, guys, this is the state of Texas. We started there in 2006, and we started with 2 people. And since then, as of today, we've expanded to 17 different states, plus the District of Columbia. Right here, guys, this is the entire country of Japan. So Ambit Energy, our company, began its international expansion in 2017, and in May of 2017, the very first territory was Japan. And that's a huge, huge opportunity for us. But most importantly for all of us in this room, you're going to see right here, that's the province of Alberta. So in November 2017, Ambit Energy came into Canada with Alberta as its first province. Just so you guys know, on the radar screen, we will be going to Ontario, BC, Arizona, Nevada. We're going everywhere. In fact, if you're talking international, like I said, everywhere around the world is deregulated. We're heading to Europe. As of next year, we're going to Singapore. We're opening in Singapore. Australia is deregulated. We might go there. Taiwan, everywhere. We are going global, and it's a very, very, very exciting time. And as you can see, just in these areas alone, painted orange, there's 151 million potential customers just in these areas alone. And as we expand, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But let's talk about Alberta. So we came here in Alberta in November 2017. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's still very ground floor. When my buddy Robert, whom you're going to meet in a little bit, told me about this opportunity, and he explained to me that there's 3.1 million potential customers that we can save money for here in Alberta alone, I started to get really excited because I understood it was an untapped market. 3.1 million. Imagine 3.1 million potential customers. This pretty much means whoever you speak to, whether it's your family, friends, neighbor on the left, neighbor on the right, doesn't matter. Very good chance they haven't heard of Ambit Energy. And I'm going to tell you as a franchise owner, if I want to acquire them as a customer, simple as that. They want to save money, give me 5 minutes, it's done. process a little paperwork, super, very, 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 very simple. Absolutely everyone can do it. And I'm going to tell you as well, as of today, was it July 2nd? July 2nd, 2019, we have less than 10,000 customers in all of Alberta. So what that means is there's still 3.1 million people available. This is the beginning of the beginning. It's the absolute beginning of the beginning. So if you're looking for an opportunity that's simple, that's ground floor, you've definitely come to the right place. So last slide about how the industry works. You're going to see three parts to how deregulation works. There's generation, delivery, and retail. This used to be owned by AGT in the 90s. And I'm going to say first off that only two of these things opened up. Let's talk about delivery first. So here in Edmonton, regardless of who you choose as your energy retailer, for the most part, your electricity is always going to be delivered by EPCOR, and your natural gas is always going to be delivered by ATCO. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. What does that mean? It means that even though this opened up, generation into retail, this didn't open up. It also means this, as a franchise owner, this is what I get really, really excited about. If I switch someone over, if I switch their gas or electricity, they become my customer, I never really have to worry about the delivery component. You know, we all pay a delivery and service charge to these companies regardless of who we choose as a retailer. And we pay that not just to rent the lines and rent the pipes, but also to service the lines and service the pipes. Meaning, electricity-wise, if something happened to the electricity, guess what? They don't call me. I love that when I run a retail energy franchise. I don't have to worry about the service aspect, so to speak. Something happens, call EPCOR. That's why we pay them. Something happens to the gas, call ATCO. That's why we pay them. I really like that part. So please take note of that. So generation-wise, obviously a lot of different technologies today. Generating power, in particular, you've got solar, you've got hydro, you've got wind, all these different technologies generating power. Different competing companies coming into here, delivery systems the same. Then you have the retail energy component. This is where we fall in. Those of you who don't know that there are actually more than 40 different competitive retailers who sell natural gas and electricity here in Alberta. Most of us only know of 3 or 4. But I'm telling you, competitive retailers, there's over 40. And Ambit Energy, we are the only competitive retailer in Alberta that sells below retail. And let me explain to you how we do that. For the most part in Alberta, for the most part, people should always be on variable rates. You guys familiar with the two different sorts of rates? You got a fixed rate, you got a variable rate, right? Fixed rate essentially is when the company holds a stable rate, you're paying a premium on that rate and just holds consistent. Variable has to do with the market pricing, it kind of fluctuates up and down. So how we save money is very simple. We're the only competitive retailer in Alberta that has a variable rate that does not carry a transaction fee. The only competitive retailer, I'm not counting the government retailers, guys. The only competitive retailer in Alberta that does not charge a transaction fee. We have industry low administration fees, and that's it. It is really, really that simple. And because we already spoke to the delivery, we already know that regardless of which company you use, it's going to be the same gas running through the ATCO pipes, the same electricity going through the EPCOR wires. So nothing changes except for the amount that you pay. Okay, let's introduce you to the company. So the gentleman on the right I'm going to introduce you to is Jerry Thompson Jr. Like I said in the beginning, I run an Ambit Energy franchise. And talking about him and his family, they're the franchise masters of the world. So his family, his grandfather in particular, created the 7-Eleven franchise. Who's heard of 7-Eleven? If you're not raising your hand, you're not participating. Everyone's heard of 7-Eleven, right?
Yes.
7-Eleven is the single biggest franchise in human history. If you add up all the McDonald's and all the Starbucks in the world, you added them together, guess what? There's more 7-Elevens than that. So we have pretty much the franchise king wanting to start a franchise-like business in the energy sector when energy became deregulated in Texas. So in 2006, he wanted to make this business happen, and he partnered with this gentleman right here on his right, which is, yeah, his right and our right, or my left. I'm confused, right? I'm looking this way, you guys are looking that way, right? Okay, so his name is Chris Chambliss. So Chris Chambliss is a specialist in in building franchise-like businesses in deregulated industries. He did so when telecom went deregulated. And as you know, telecom business today is very, very different. There's no more long distance, so to speak, right? Everything's voice over IP, everything's data-driven. So he was open to an opportunity, and they got together in 2006 and they formed Ambit Energy. So they built everything ground up. Obviously, they both have a lot of high growth experience, and they did a really good job at building exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to build a retail energy franchise-like business that could expand, that could create a lot of loyalty, and they wanted to sell below retail. And I'm going to tell you guys, whenever I talk about this business to other people, I get two objections, two main objections. The first one is, well, it sounds too good to be true. You haven't heard it all yet, but you might say the same thing at the end of it. If you feel that way, ask Rob, he's going to be able to help you out. But the second objection is, I don't understand how you can sell below retail. I don't understand how you can actually save us money. And I'm going to tell you, the reason why we're able to do so really comes down to two main reasons. The first one is our model. We are a straight-to-consumer business. We go straight to consumer. We are direct sales. And what happens with that is there's a lot of cost savings in that for the company. And we pass those cost savings back onto our customers so the customers can benefit as well. The second reason is because of this proven technology platform. So in 2007, because of the technology, I'm not going to go into the details now, but because of what we built, we caught the attention of Royal Dutch Shell. So Royal Dutch Shell, they're the parent company for Shell. You know Shell, the gas station? Shell? Okay, Royal Dutch Shell. Royal Dutch Shell is the single biggest wholesaler of energy in the entire world. In fact, they are the biggest corporation in the entire Western world. They are our strategic partner. Being partners with Royal Dutch Shell simply means we get to use their sourcing, their logistics, everything, their resources, and that really gives us a competitive advantage. So if you're wondering how we can sell below retail, that's probably the biggest reason.